Hey guys, welcome back to the Veda Mindset podcast. So recently I just moved to New York for school and I am alone here. So I don't have like set friends or anything. I'm basically starting over in life and I've gotten the chance to reestablish a deeper relationship with myself because of how much time I spend alone. This is the first time I've lived without any roommates. So not only am I in a new state alone, I'm also living by myself. So it's a big thing, a big difference to get used to. Especially for me, I'm a twin. So you can imagine the anxious attachment that I developed just by having a twin with me my whole entire life. So as I've grown up, I've really had to heal that anxious attachment or put in more effort to learn how to be alone because when you're a twin, you're so used to having someone with you all the time. And now that I'm really alone, I get to really heal that part of me that always felt like they needed someone with them all the time. And that's what I've been doing lately is learning how to be okay in my own company. And prior to moving here, I was already learning that skill. I became very comfortable in my solitude. I was kind of healing a lot internally. But when you move to a different state, the whole game changes because you have no more familiarity anchors. There are no set rhythm, set schedule, set places that you are continuously going to anymore because you're new here. You don't know anything, you don't know anyone. So it kind of makes you feel even more alone because at least where I was before, I already had my set life. I already had my set friends. So being alone, spending time with myself didn't feel that scary. But if you've ever moved before or like just entered a new place where you're by yourself, it feels a bit more scary because there's no familiarity anchors for you anymore. It's just yourself. So I did some research on how to navigate through this because I've seen with other people, whenever they move somewhere new, they have a really hard time or maybe have a lot of difficulty in finding friends that truly feel like they are seen by. And so what I realized is friends that truly see you are built over time. They are not built in one hangout. So knowing that moving here, I had to really be honest with myself and tell myself I need to be okay with being alone because if I'm not, the only friends I'm gonna attract are probably gonna be time filler friends or friends I settle for just because I don't wanna be alone. I truly believe that the state that you're in when you attract certain relationships or certain friendships is kind of like the building foundation of that connection. So if you go into a connection feeling really desperate or feeling like you want to grasp onto them because you don't want to be alone, I find that you end up connecting with people who truly aren't the most aligned for you or are a bit toxic. you just end up creating relationships from lack. And when you create relationships from lack, I don't really think you meet the highest potential of people. Like, you don't meet the highest quality of people. And I didn't want to come from that place. When I moved here, I'm not in a rush to fill that gap of being alone, because it is hard. When my mom and my sister left after they moved me in, I cried because it's like my last two familiarity anchors are gone, and now I have to make my life. And I really made the promise to myself that I am not going to rush to fill in that gap of loneliness, because the moment you rush to fill in that gap of loneliness, that's when, I don't know, maybe you go on dating apps or you just go to all these parties and you do meet people. But at least for me, when I've done that, I've still felt lack. I've still felt empty inside, because anytime I was meeting people from that energy, like going on dating apps, going to clubs, from that energy of wanting a friend so bad or wanting to be with someone so bad, honestly, you just only end up meeting people who aren't the best quality for a connection. You end up meeting people who are just time fillers. And I've had experiences where, like, I have dated people from that state, or I have made friends with people from that state of lack. And then 6 months down the line, I look back, I'm like, wow, like, why did I ever hang out with that person? Oh, it's because I didn't want to be alone. And when you don't want to be alone, and that's the energy you make connections from, I'm telling you, 9 times out of 10, you look back and you ask yourself, oh, why did I hang out with that person again? Because those aren't the connections you were truly looking for. But because you cared more about filling the gap of loneliness, you end up settling for whatever comes your way. So basically, I have done that before. I've made connections and made friends and relationships from that state, and I know how that pattern goes. And I committed to myself that this time around, moving to a new place, it's gonna be really hard, but I want to take this opportunity to really get to know myself and really be patient when it comes to finding good friends or good relationships, because things that are deep, connections that are deep, take time to build. They don't just happen very fast. I always say that I think good things take time. If it's happening like super, super fast, it's burning really hot, usually those things die off quicker. It's what I've seen over time. So I kind of made a commitment to myself that I'm going to take this opportunity of being completely alone here to truly have fun with myself. I think that's been one of the biggest lessons of being alone, is truly learning how to have fun with myself. I realized, I think a long time ago, before I was practicing this skill, I think I was under the assumption that I needed to have someone with me to just see my personality. I needed to have someone with me in order to laugh or make jokes or be silly. And you outsource all of your, how do I say, sense of expression when you just wait for someone to unlock that part of you. That part of you is always there. You don't have to wait for someone to come along for you to see your awesome personality. And so nowadays, I just started having fun with myself. So whenever I'm out by myself, if I'm watching a movie at the movie theater, if I'm walking around, if I'm at a store, if I think of something funny, I'm gonna laugh out loud. If I wanna say the joke I thought in my head out loud, I'm gonna say the joke. If I wanna strike up conversation with someone about what I'm seeing in front of me, I'm gonna let myself do that, because when you don't let yourself be yourself just because nobody's around, I feel like you lock yourself in a cage. And of course, you're bored. I would be bored if I never let myself talk. Like, imagine just never hearing the sound of your own voice unless someone is with you. That's pretty sad. It's like you're kind of keeping your personality a prisoner until someone is hanging out with you. And I realized when I just let myself be myself, let myself talk, let myself be goofy, let myself dance, let myself be weird without needing someone there to unlock it, I genuinely like being my own friend. I have fun with myself. I never think anymore, oh, I need someone to do that with me. I need someone to go there with me. I need someone to do this activity with me, because I feel comfortable enough in my own presence to have fun and activities alone. But it's a learning process, like this is the opportunity I had to be able to really strengthen that skill, because that's a skill, learning how to really just be your own friend and not just say you're your own friend, but act like it. Like, genuinely have fun doing things even though you're alone. Another thing I started doing was developing a rhythm for myself. So basically, the way things work is whenever you're in a new space or you've moved somewhere and you don't know anyone or you don't know anything, the reason why you look for people immediately is because internally your nervous system feels unsafe and your mind is looking for mirrors to reflect off of. It's almost like you don't know who you are anymore once you are plucked out of your hometown or out of the place you've been living in. Because without your friends or relationships or your family, you just don't know what to do with yourself anymore. And when you're in a new place, it becomes vital to develop your own rhythm. If you don't develop your own rhythm, that is why you are constantly seeking out comfort in people, because it feels chaotic being in a new place. You don't know anything, you don't know anyone. So in order to soothe the chaos, your mind tells you that you need to go seek out friendships now. We need someone now. We need to feel comfortable now. So go find friends or go find a boyfriend or girlfriend so that you can feel safe again, because we don't know anyone here. And we think that finding people will make us feel safe. And again, it's not like that doesn't work, but remember what I said before. If you're finding people from that state of desperation and lack, you end up dating people or becoming friends with people that you never would have become friends or dated. I'm telling you, the people you pick from lack are never the people you pick from true fulfillment or security. So I did some research on this, on how to genuinely feel safe with yourself when you move to a new place, because I didn't want to come here and feel desperate for connections. I didn't want to come here and feel desperate for belonging. I wanted to create that from within. And so basically I learned that your nervous system and mind like consistency. They like predictability. So you can formulate that on your own. So what I started doing was picking a few coffee spots, cafes, or restaurants that I go to regularly. And that already creates a sense of safety for my mind and body. So I'm no longer in New York all alone. Now I'm in New York and I have this cafe that I know the waiter in. I have this thrifting shop where I know the cashier, because I go out of my way to go to places regularly to set a rhythm. And when you set a rhythm by going to certain places repetitively, you see familiar faces. And sometimes that's all your body and mind need to develop a sense of stability. So along with that, I also developed a day that I always get myself flowers. Every Wednesday, I get myself flowers as a little pick-me-up and a little sense of consistency that I know that even though I don't know anyone here, I don't have a set friend group. I don't have a set life here yet. I go to these coffee shops repetitively. I go to these stores repetitively. And every Wednesday, I get myself flowers. I know this seems maybe a bit pointless, but I'm telling you, this is the way your mind and body find safety when you're not using people to feel safe. Because when you don't develop safety like this, you develop safety through using people, which is why you stick to people like parasites whenever you find someone to hang out with. Because if you don't have any sense of security or control by doing these things that I'm telling you to do, like developing a rhythm, you just find comfort in sticking to people. And you become like a parasite on people because you don't want to be alone. And that's what I've been trying to learn how to not do. I'm not trying to stick to people just because I don't want to be alone. I'm trying to develop my own rhythm, my own little schedule, so that I create my little world here. Even though it feels chaotic because I don't know anyone and I don't have a set life here, having my flowers every Wednesday, having that coffee shop, knowing that waiter, knowing that cashier, talking to those people is what helps my mind and my body feel safe in a world where I don't have a set life here yet. So this is what's going to help me have that comfort before I find those connections that are deep, those connections that are for me. Doing this consistently, developing my own rhythm, going to certain restaurants or certain areas repetitively really helps create my little own ecosystem, and it helps me find my sense of self, and it helps me get to know myself better. I've been going to little spots around here. I've been taking my manga and just reading it out in the park. And even those little rituals repetitively is what helps me feel more safe within myself. So doing all of these things help me feel comfortable, and it's all building blocks on learning how to enjoy my own company so that I don't have to outsource my sense of safety. Because in reality, you are your only constant. You don't need to outsource safety to people. You find safety from within, and you create it by picking your own little spaces you like to be at, picking your own little hobbies you want to go to every week, picking your own little fun things to do for yourself, like how I get myself flowers. Those things are your way of developing comfort and safety, but within. You created all of it. You didn't need anyone to develop that rhythm. And I find that it's been really empowering to do that, because the more I learn how to develop safety from within, the less I cling on to people in my life. And it's really important not to cling on to people because, again, when you're alone and you don't know anyone, everything in you wants to cling on to the first nice people you meet. You want to cling on to the first warm people that come your way. And those aren't always your group. Those aren't always your aligned connections. And I don't want to cling on to people. Like, I want to develop a really, really strong inner security where I am choosing who I want to be close to. I'm not going to cling on to you because you're the first people that passed my way. Another thing I've been practicing doing is just letting myself be myself. So basically, if I want to go up to someone and talk to them, I'm going to go up to someone and talk to them. I really try to let go of any sense of embarrassment or self-consciousness. And being alone here, nobody knows you. So it's so much easier to just be however you want to be. And honestly, that's an illusion because you can be however you want to be no matter where you go. But I find that after I've moved to a new place, it's like it feels easier to just show up however way you want now because nobody has any expectations of you. Like nobody knows me. Nobody knows the difference. So I find it so freeing being here alone, which is weird because I thought I'd feel more, I don't know, lonely or more scared of being alone. But I honestly started to capitalize off of it by just letting myself be me because there's no expectations. Nobody here knows me. And I can just be however I want. And there's no expectation of me. Whereas probably where I used to live, people already have a set expectation of me. People around me know me. Makes you fit into a mold more. But when you move to a new place, it's like this sense of freedom, like you got to reinvent yourself. I don't really think I'm reinventing myself. I think I'm just finally expressing parts of me that maybe I didn't express where I lived before because I already had a sense of identity there. Like people maybe already knew me. So I showed up the same way every time. But here now, I find that it's been so much easier to tap into who I truly am because there's no expectation. There's nothing I have to live up to for people. And honestly, these days, because I don't know anyone and because I'm alone here for the most part, I wasn't going to let myself just never talk to anyone until I make like a close friend. I just started going up to random people and talking to them. And honestly, it's kind of funny what's it called? The stereotype people have of New York because I think people here are way nicer than people in Florida. People here, I think, are so used to being spoken to that every single time I've striked up conversation with someone random, they don't even bat an eye. Like, they talk to me like normal. In Florida, I don't think it's as common, so maybe people are a little bit like shocked to see you striking conversation randomly. But here, I feel like it's like my element because I was already practicing learning how to be myself and my authentic self back in Florida, like saying whatever I wanted, talking to whoever, being my true authentic self. And here, I feel like it's even more welcomed because people are so used to it. Like everyone is themselves here. Like there's this sense of authenticity and honesty and weirdness here that you can be whoever you want to be and no one cares. And but like in the best way possible. And I just started randomly talking to people. Like this is my exposure therapy. I'm here alone. So I am gonna talk to you if I wanna talk to you. I'm gonna strike up conversation if we're in the same restaurant and I see an opening. If I like something about what you're wearing, I'm gonna go up to you and tell you. I was sitting at the park and I just randomly started talking to people. And for me, this is exposure therapy because I used to be so scared of talking to random people. I used to think like, oh my God, what if they think I'm weird? Like, what if they think like this is abnormal? Like, they don't know me. Is it normal to talk and be myself and ask a random question? And yes, it is fucking normal. Like, there's nothing wrong with you striking up conversation with someone that you find interesting. Or sometimes I'm in a social mood. And again, I'm alone here. So it's not like I have roommates to talk to or set friends to always hang out with. So when I'm in a social mood, I'm going to let myself talk. So I'll be sitting at the park and I will literally strike up conversation with someone next to me. And you realize that everyone's actually really fucking nice. And honestly, I'm not even going to say this is just New York. I think everyone probably wants to be spoken to, but everyone is also just as scared of looking weird or rejection. So they don't do it, and everyone's on their phones because they don't want to look like they don't know what to do. So they just go on their phones and I realized like you're just as social as I am. You just didn't say anything because all the times I've striked up conversation with people, they're open. Like they're so nice and they wanted to talk to me. They just didn't. Like some people don't know how to go out of their way to strike up conversation. And again, that's a skill. Like I've been doing exposure therapy on myself because my whole thing lately is learning how to be my authentic self. So if I want social time, if I'm craving social time, I'm gonna find someone that their energy feels open and I'm gonna strike up conversation with them. I'll probably talk about whatever we're seeing, or maybe they're reading a book, or maybe they have a cool outfit on, and I'll just start conversation. And that has made me feel way more confident and secure in myself here being alone because now I know I don't need to like scope out friends. I don't need to scope out a relationship to fulfill that social time. I can talk to someone next to me at the park and be like, okay, cool, like I got my social fix. And I guess it's a little bit harder to do when you're living in places where I used to live, like Florida, because it's not like there's people around you all the time. But that's the good part about now living in New York. There's like no shortage of people. So there's like no shortage of conversation. So it's been a bit of a buffer here for me. Like the fact that I'm able to get myself to talk to random people fills that void a little bit more. Like I'm not constantly waiting for a friend or for a relationship to fill that lonely void. Now I can talk to the person at the park and fuel that social fix that I was trying to get. But even so, even if it's not someone at the park, this is what I talked about developing rhythm and by going to the same cafes, the same restaurants more often because you develop connections there. Get to know your waiters, get to know your cashiers. They're people too, and they want to talk. And I feel like so warm inside because I know the cashiers' names, I know the waiters' names, and they know my name. And that's already a building block in starting a life somewhere just by knowing the locals, seeing familiar faces. Anytime you get yourself to talk to someone new, even if it's your waiter or even if it's the cashier at the grocery store, you're allowing your nervous system and your mind to feel one step closer to safety. And that's what you're looking for. Whenever you move to a new space, you go to a new school, you do anything new, you're just looking for anchors of safety. You're looking for an energy where you can relax and be yourself. You're looking for a person that you can strike up conversation with and be yourself just for a moment or let your emotions flow just for a moment. As long as you can develop that for yourself, you learn to develop the sense of security and confidence within yourself and the environment that you're in. Another aspect of my life here that's illuminated is dating life because I've felt really open to dating, and when you're in New York, there's like no shortage of people. But because there's so many people here, it's like a higher probability that you date people that aren't the most aligned with you, which is the biggest reason why you need to find security within yourself. And whenever you move to a new place, everything in you wants a relationship because you want that sense of stability. You want someone to go to new places with. You want someone to explore the city with. You want someone to do activities with you. But again, I stayed away from that because I want to be able to do activities by myself. I want to be able to learn how to have fun by myself. I want to set my own life and my own rhythm here before I meet anyone, because if I set my own life and my own rhythm here, I get to know myself deeper. So then I'm making connections from security. When I date someone, it's because I actually like you, not because I need you to feel less alone or explore the new setting with. And I think by doing that, I actually cultivate more genuine connections, because usually when people move to a new place, they want to date someone immediately. And it's it makes sense. Like, again, your nervous system and your mind are looking for familiarity anchors. And familiarity anchor is a relationship. And your nervous system and mind want that safety. They want that comfort. But again, like I said, when you date from that place, you cultivate connections that you probably wouldn't particularly want if you were in a more secure spot with yourself. But I find that although I am open to dating, I'm really making it a priority to develop my own rhythm here before I open myself up to that. And another aspect about that is I've really been trying my hardest to not go on dating apps. Not gonna lie, it's been pretty enticing to think about and get to do, but I really like to stay off my phone, and I think going on dating apps would have me on my phone too much. And the other aspect is I love seeing how life just orchestrates everything for you to meet the person you're supposed to meet. I think God like lines everything up, and it's so much fun seeing the way life moves in your favor for you to meet that person. And just the sequence of events that usually have to take place in order for you to meet someone is like a domino effect. Like, you meet this person who introduces you to this person who knows that person that you go to that class with, and then you meet that person, and then boom, you end up meeting someone that you really connect with. But when you go on dating apps, it's like you take all the wonder out of it, and it's more based on physicality. And I find that I think I pick people better. Not I think, I know, and it kind of makes more sense this way. I think you can read energy more in person. And when you're on dating apps, your mind only fixates on the physicality aspect. So you're kind of picking through a superficial lens unconsciously. Whereas in real life, your body is literally drawn to people on certain wavelengths. Like, your body knows before your mind does. And your body will literally gravitate towards people who you're meant to connect with. It's like your body knows faster than your mind can keep up. And suddenly, like, you have connected with someone, or you were drawn to someone based on energy, or like they're on your certain wavelength, or maybe their tone of voice or their mannerisms, and you don't get that on dating apps. So I find it really beautiful to see how relationships form in real life. And honestly, I just want to let God cook. I was telling my friend, I want to let God cook in the lab. Let God take care of how I'm going to meet the person while I just live my life and have a really fun time being present. And when you go on dating apps, I think you rip away all of the wonder and the domino effect you get to see by dating in real life. And another thing is exposure therapy. I really have been trying to get myself to talk to random people. When I'm on dating apps, I'm not exposing myself to learning how to speak or be my authentic self. But in person, I get to practice going up to people that I find interesting. I get to practice being myself even when I feel nervous. And when you go on dating apps, it takes away that learning aspect, that skill to develop. And it is nerve-wracking when you meet people that you're interested in person, because you feel that jittery feeling. But I've learned to love it, because the more you practice talking to people in real life, the more you practice striking up conversation or complimenting someone that you are kind of romantically interested in, the more security you develop in yourself. So that's why I've been loving letting life happen and being open to a relationship, but not doing the manual work for it. I guess I find going on Tinder or on dating apps like kind of doing the work, whereas living my life and doing my thing and going to places where I was going to go to, going to jujitsu, going to these coffee shops, going to my hobbies, going to play piano, going outside, doing classes, like doing your hobbies. You meet people that way, you make friends that way, you make connections that way. And it makes you more confident in yourself because you have to go out of your way to talk. You have to go out of your way to introduce yourself to someone. You have to learn how to build confidence in yourself and build this authenticity and practice being yourself even when you're nervous. And you don't get to practice those things when you constantly meet people on social media or on dating apps. So that's a really big thing I've been practicing lately. I am open to dating, but I'm so excited to just let life happen for me and see the butterfly effect that it takes to get from point A to point B, whether that be a relationship or friendships. I find it like I'm in awe watching the sequence of events that had to take place for me to meet someone and build a connection with them. I think the biggest thing I appreciate in this time alone is really honing in on my hobbies and really getting to know myself, because I realized it's gonna come a season where I do have friends or I do have a relationship. There's gonna be a season where I'm gonna be around people a lot, especially when I start school. And the more I'm around people, the less time I have to get to know myself behind closed doors. So these quote unquote lonely seasons, honestly, I don't even need to call it a lonely season, because I think it's a learning how to be secure in yourself season. I feel like lonely season has like a little like negative touch to it. All lonely seasons are teaching you are how to be more secure in yourself and use yourself as your anchor. And if you don't capitalize off of your lonely seasons, you pay the price for it and the quality of your relationships. That was a good sentence. I'm going to say it again. If you don't capitalize off of your lonely seasons by learning how to develop security within, you pay for it in your relationships, because you end up attracting relationships out of desperation and lack, and that never creates anything fulfilling. Maybe you have friends, maybe you have a relationship, but you don't feel truly seen. And that's what matters most, is feeling seen, which is why I didn't do what I did in the beginning of my undergrad. When I was an undergrad and I moved to college, I went out a lot. I would party a lot. I would go to like any single event or any get together just because I felt lonely and I thought people, friends, connection, it'll be fine. All I developed were time filler company. I never felt seen. In fact, I felt more alone, because when you're just constantly going to random places just to scope out people, I don't know what it is. Like there's like this energetic factor. Like I was coming from a place of desperation and I was unanchored in myself. That doesn't mean I didn't meet people. I met a bunch of people, but did I feel seen? No. Because meeting people that you feel seen by is like a slow burn. You meet them. Oh, let me put that book back. These books are like falling on me. So, as I was saying, meeting people that you feel seen by is like a slow burn. You hang out with them once, you feel the vibe. You're not that. Well, I need to fix that. As I was saying, these books keep falling. Meeting someone that you feel seen by is like a slow burn. You meet them once, you feel the vibe, and because you're not desperate, you're not clinging on to them, but you enjoyed your time. You hang out with them again and again and again, and a month down the line, you realized you made a really genuine friend. And that's what I've realized within myself. The friends that I'm gonna meet here that make me feel seen, I'm gonna realize it over time. It's not gonna be a thing where I'm like, oh my God, I fucking love you and I wanna hang out with you all the time. Because at least for me, when I've made friends that way, I kind of get too excited before really knowing the person, and then they end up being someone that I didn't realize they were. So I've tried to become a little bit slower when it comes to building deep friendships. And I find that that's helped me a lot more because I stay more centered in myself. I'm more secure in myself. I don't depend on you, and I'm just gonna see where this connection goes with no expectations. And I find when you just be yourself, see how things go, and have no expectations, I don't know what that does to the energy, but you cultivate genuine friends. You cultivate people, connections that truly see you for you. So that's what I've started doing lately is taking it easy, really learning how to be with myself and be friends with myself. Because if you're not friends with yourself, if you don't enjoy spending time with yourself, of course you can't go with the flow and have no expectations when you hang out with people. You're gonna want them to want to hang out with you all the time because you hate being alone. And being in that place is not good for your well-being. It's not good for your sense of security or self-esteem. So I've started learning how to enjoy my own company and be secure in myself because I know when I'm secure in myself, I don't need you. And when you don't need them, somehow that just creates like the best relationships. Every time I don't need you, every time I don't need someone to fill a void, I end up making amazing friends because I'm not coming from a desperate state. I'm not coming from a state of lack. When you come off from a state of lack or desperation, it's like you're a repellent. And I mean that in the most like psychological way possible. Like it's a real thing. Whether that be energy, tone, mannerisms, way of being, when you are desperate and are coming from lack, people feel that and by default find themselves not really wanting to be around you. As soon as you become secure in yourself, as soon as you love being in your own presence, people want to be in your presence. And that's when you create really amazing friends. As soon as you learn how to be comfortable in yourself, as soon as you learn how to find your own rhythm, you make your own home within yourself, the aligned friends and relationships just gravitate towards you like flies to light. I'm not even kidding. The times I have found connections or made friends is because I was doing my own thing, chose to be myself, had no expectations, and then boom, I develop really nice aligned people who do see me. I feel seen by. Whereas the times where I was coming from lack or desperation or a place where I wasn't my authentic self and I needed someone to just see me, I made a bunch of friends who were just time filler friends. Like nobody really saw me for me. I felt more lonely. So these are just a couple lessons I've been going through as I've moved here to New York. I am genuinely really appreciating this time alone. And I'm almost reveling in it because, like I said, my whole entire life, I had my twin. I was anxious attachment. I had no concept of truly having fun with myself. I always needed someone to be with. And this past, I want to say like 6 months or so, even before I moved here, I was already practicing, learning how to enjoy my own company. And then being here just made it even easier to practice because I don't know anyone here. So I made it a whole thing. I was like, you know what? I don't know anyone here. I don't have a set group of friends here. I'm going to learn about myself so much. I'm going to become my own best friend. I'm going to prove to myself that I don't need a person to be with me to go do activities, to go do fun stuff, to go eat at restaurants, to go learn new hobbies. Learning that has felt like freedom. When you feel like you need someone to try new things, you lock yourself in a prison. And if you find that that's you, no shame, dude. Like, that's like, honestly, that's everyone, unless like you really try to learn. I feel like everyone, depending on your personality, maybe some people are hyper independent. A lot of people feel nervous doing things alone. This is something I've built over time. And I realized being able to be your own friend and do things alone, and you don't wait for anyone to start your life. You don't wait for anyone to get the ball moving. You don't wait for anyone to enjoy life and start new things. You just become unstoppable. You become so secure, so happy with yourself. And when you're in that state, you just become a beacon of light, and you end up attracting the aligned relationships for you. And I say this as I'm practicing it. So I'm going to see how it turns out for me. But so far, my life has been good. Like, I have been learning so much being alone here. I've been learning so much about myself, and I've truly started to enjoy my own company. And honestly, it makes relationships so much sweeter, because the more I'm able to appreciate my time alone, the more I'm able to appreciate friends when they come my way. I don't know how that is, but I feel the difference. Like, the times where I was filling all my lonely seasons with just so many friends and so many things, I don't know, I guess maybe I didn't appreciate them as much because I was using it to fill a void. But now that I learn how to fill the void myself by developing hobbies, developing a sense of security, getting to know who I am and having fun with myself, I find that when I do meet people, I think I genuinely appreciate them. Maybe it's like appreciation from an honest place, because that means I'm making friends from a place of fullness and not a place of desperation. And maybe when you're meeting people from a place of desperation, you don't truly appreciate them for them. You appreciate them for what they are giving you. They're giving you their company. So you appreciate them more for what they're giving you and not who they truly are. And I find that as I've learned how to be alone, I appreciate people for who they truly are and what our friendship truly is, because I'm not using them to fill a void. I'm experiencing them for them, and they're just an add-on to my life. So I find that as I've appreciated my alone time, I've also been able to appreciate people more and my friendships and relationships more. But honestly, I'm gonna end the podcast episode here. My camera overheated. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode and hearing me just talk about my lonely season right now, my building security in myself season. And hopefully it can give you guys a different point of view on how to handle these seasons yourself if you find yourself in them. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I'll see you guys in the next episode.